Iron Lords podcast.
Welcome to the Lord's Minute, our quick hit video series where we talk about all the biggest happenings in gaming and beyond. I'm your host, Ty Swinson, writer for Lords of Gaming. And with me once again is Lord King. We're back covering She-Hulk, this time our first ever superhuman case in the new division headed by Jennifer Walters. It's the People versus Emil Blonsky. The Abomination is trying to get on parole, and it's up to Jennifer Walters to convince the People to let him out. So I'm going to start with you, Lord King. How are you feeling about seeing Emil Blonsky back in the fray, Abomination, going a little bit more zen and namaste in his new line of living?
Well, what I do like is that he's wearing some Crocs, right?
I know it when he carefully put the Crocs down. I'm like,
Yes.
oh
Yeah,
no, the white Crocs.
that was in episode 3, but in episode 2, I noticed it right off the rip. I was like, yo, what? Blonsky has on Crocs. And the fact that he had to lay down his case to her that he thought he was Captain America. Like a lot of times individuals, you have to look at the perspective of the villain, right? He thought the Hulk was a raging beast. He thought, he was doing his duty to stop him, to take him down, to take down this monster. But in doing so, he became a monster itself. And we all know that the super soldier serum is unstable in certain people. Like if their mental state isn't all the way correct, if their moral compass isn't in the right direction, a la U.S. Agent, the previous Captain America who took over, for Steve Rogers during that period of time, during the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
We know that it can have psychotic episodes in these individuals. Now, coupled with that the fact that he's a raging gamma monster, that could have led some credence to his release. So she felt that she had a good case, but she was conflicted because that's her cousin, and he did try to kill her cousin. So his family ties there. I found it that this, a CEO, her boss, was like, I don't care about that. You got to defend him, type of thing. Either you're going to take the case or you're not. Now, she wants to be taken serious as a lawyer, as Jennifer Walters. But she's coming to grips that the world knows that she's She-Hulk. Everyone knows this is common knowledge. Yes. And she thinks it's like a circus, but this is the only way she's going to get a job. Right. And the media, how I can say, whirlwind that surrounds her is the largest that I've seen since Miss Marvel. I mean, they've touched on that social media aspect of it, in Miss Marvel, how the world is actively alive and it's happening in real time, and something that happens right now is broadcast all over the place. I think She-Hulk takes that a step further, where you have traditional linear television also chiming in on it, and then you have the cyber stuff that goes along with that. Mm-hmm. So when we're coupling both episodes here, broadening it. When she's actually defending Blonsky in the courtroom, there's an actual media circus that's going on, and in real time, they're hearing things and they're turning that speculation into news. Yes. Like, She-Hulk, were you rejected by the Avengers? Rumor has it She-Hulk was rejected by. Yeah. So this stuff is real fun to watch. I love the fact that she breaks the fourth wall. What I did notice, when she has her hair back, and maybe it's a stature thing because of the hair, but I don't believe so. I believe that she can control her height and her size, because when she was walking in the office to her boss right before Wong showed up, she was at a smaller stature compared to when she's normally fully She-Hulked out. And when she started to fight the Wrecking Crew, which I'm so happy that they I'm so happy that they did, but I'm so disappointed in who they actually look like, right?
Yeah.
And I guess if you take in a text from the comic books, the Wrecking Crew is a ragtag band of humans that found the enchanted wrecking crowbar and got imbued with the powers because of Thor. Actually, they're actually because of Thor, and actually they did it kind of like the same thing. That seen their weapons, and immediately I knew exactly who they were.
Yeah.
But they're looked at as a joke, and I thought the Wrecking Crew was a little bit more than a joke in the books. One of my favorite teams, like I love Thunderball, I love the Wrecker, I love Bulldozer, I love that stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't until they started saying names in the car, in the getaway car, that I was like, oh, it was the Wrecking
Then
Crew.
it was right,
Okay.
but I,
hmm
I I I automatically knew when I saw the ball and chain, when I saw the
Yeah.
wrecking,
Yeah, I was like,
the
wait a minute.
crowbar. I want to know who their boss is.
Yep.
But when she turned into She-Hulk at that moment, she was statuesque. She was actually full hulked out. So I believe that she can manipulate her size and her form for whatever, like if she's doing a deposition and stuff like that, so she can look less imposing. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool
I
as well.
That's
Sorry.
an interesting thing. I'll definitely have to pay attention to that moving forward or rewatch just to double check and catch that. Because I definitely think the hair thing is one piece of her character, as well
Right.
as she's trying to come to grips of being She-Hulk and getting in front of this. Because correct me if I'm wrong, and traditionally in the comics, Jennifer Walters slash She-Hulk, unlike regular Bruce hulked out rampage smashing, She-Hulk relishes in being a Hulk and being kind of more daring and just feeling herself, power, and coupled with the fourth wall breakers, things like that. But so far with Attorney at Law, she very much prefers to be Jennifer Walters. She doesn't want to be in the spotlight. She wants to take up as less room as possible when she's hulked out and things like that. And she even says like she just wants to get back to her old life. And when the case is concluded with Emil Blonsky, she was like, a power dampener is something to remove my powers. That's an idea.
Yeah.
So,
And what I notice is they're mixing both books. So Savage She-Hulk
mhm,
is Jennifer Walters just wanting to go back to her life. Sensational She-Hulk, which is the books that I freaking love to death because John
mhm.
Byrne and the writing team, that was her leaning into the celebrity of it.
And that's what
And,
I'm more
right.
accustomed to.
And that's what I'm seeing here. That's when she's wearing the tight fitting outfits. She's wearing the more seductive things. Her hair is more voluptuous, and I see them bouncing in between the two, and they're trying to navigate it through. I love the fact that they bring it to attention that this show has cameos every episode. And she said, I just want
Yeah.
y'all to know this whose show this is. And it says She-Hulk. I love that. I get that from, if you ever watched Invincible, every time they went to say Invincible's name, like for the title, he would say, hey man, aren't you in? And before they could say the name, the logo of Invincible pops up. So they're tearing from all type of successful material, and they're piling on and making a show that is constructed in a way that it's really unpredictable. I didn't predict the elf that was a shapeshifter from Asgard, but they're also keeping it in the loop. They're keeping everything completely current and in real time because
Right.
the elf shapeshifter tried to get up and tried to say Thor's mantra, Asgard is not a place, Asgard is a people. And it
Just
just
shut
did
that
not
down
happen.
real quick. Like, we already covered that. Not again.
It's
And
just not going to happen.
yeah. So to for this case with versus Emil Blonsky, a couple things happened, revelations for the audience. One, Jennifer's now pretty much on her own for the rest of the series. Her cousin Bruce Banner is officially off planet, jettisoned on the spaceship off to take care of the business that they encountered with the spaceship in the first episode. And with the Abomination back in the picture and essentially a free man, um, it begs the question like who is going to be the main antagonist that She-Hulk is ultimately gonna have to face slash take care of. With the Wrecking Crew, we're still not sure who the boss is, just that they wanted Hulk blood slash She-Hulk's blood. Abomination um was we saw him in Shang-Chi because
Hmm.
Wong needed a worthy opponent to justify him becoming a supreme master of the mystic arts.
Right.
And Emil Blonsky put up a pretty good case slash front of like, hey, I'm in full control now too. I can control when I go into the abomination. I have my faculties, but I'm a pacifist now essentially. Like gone through this reformation in prison. I'm a nice guy. I have no interest in revenge or rampaging. Uh, but then again, like, who's to say what his real motives are? So I'm gonna bounce to you with Wrecking Crew, Abomination, Titania in the first episode. Who ultimately is the overarching villain that She-Hulk's either gonna discover or have to come to blows with?
Well, I believe that they're gearing up for the Thunderbolts. Everything is also going into the West Coast Avengers. So we do see that everything is happening on the West Coast.
Yes.
Uh, and that's going to lean into what is going to turn into. The fact that Blonsky is very coherent, just like the She-Hulk, and he's able to control his transformations. He's able to be articulate in that same manner. He's controlled the beast. That's the same way in the books. He was always calculating, but his power levels, base level, he doesn't get stronger as he gets angrier like the Hulk. The Hulk has an infinite amount of power given to him as he gets stronger, as he gets angrier. But Blonsky doesn't. He starts off at a higher base level and he stays at that same base level. So I believe that he's one of the being manipulated by Madam Hydra to form the Thunderbolts with Baron Zemo and everybody else. You need a Hulk. But I think that Hulk blood
Mm-hmm.
is probably from the leader.
Oh.
Because if Blonsky is from that world, the leader is from that world as well. And if that's canon and we haven't seen the leader since then and he's been talked about, then that means he is active and in that world. And maybe he does need Hulk blood to manipulate it to actually, because remember, he's the leader is not a strong individual. He's mentally strong, right? So if he can get some Hulk blood, he can probably get to the point where he's manufacturing Hulks, where you can get a bomb from Rick Jones, and you can get a Red Hulk,
Right.
and you can get the Red She-Hulk from Betty Grant. The Abomination doesn't have the catalyst that forced him to go after Bruce, which is the death of his wife and his child. That's not there, right? So when you remove that from it, from being canon, and his whole purpose was being manipulated by the government, the Namaste stuff, I don't believe that's an act for him. I believe that's a way out, and I believe he understands how to get out of jail, and he wants to do it the proper way.
One
But
thing.
also, did you
Go
catch
ahead.
this?
Which what?
When the news said, I heard that you were made from a failed mob hit. That was the books. Because
Oh.
in the books, in
Yeah.
Savage She-Hulk #1, it was a failed mob hit that
Mhm.
actually got her to have the blood transfusion by Bruce in order to become the Savage She-Hulk. And I said, this stuff is the gift that keeps on giving.
Right.
So I love it.
The one thing with the Namaste back to Emil that I almost forgot is watching the end credits scene and the different images. Emil was on the parole bus heading out, and he was waving bye to his seven soulmates. Why? So
Yeah.
I don't think he's settling down with the wives per se, even though that was a bit of the stretch that he found his soulmates and seven other women there that will financially support him.
Well, eight women, but
Eight women.
yeah, 8 women. But remember, as a condition of his parole, he has to go to that piece of land, and they're
Right,
all
right,
going
right.
to meet him there, but they have to
And never
financially support him.
never
So, right,
transform into the abomination again.
right. So it's
Um,
gonna be fun stuff to see. I'm
yeah,
waiting for the Daredevil
I know.
episode,
I'm
to be
like,
honest with you.
oof, when's that coming? But one more thing to close out this segment episode. So far, we've gotten episodes from the MCU that are getting end credit scene.
Right.
She-Hulk has been a series that has had one every single time. Shout out to Megan the Stallion.
That was
And
ridiculous.
so I'm curious on what's your take with how She-Hulk's end credit scenes have been more more jokingly, adding more depth and getting to know She-Hulk a little bit more uh, with these after credit scenes.
Well, I do like it, and they keep in the tradition, and they have groomed the audience from the movies. Don't get up. You know, just because the credits is rolling, don't get up. There's going to be something extra, and you reward the audience for sitting through the credits. And actually, to be honest with you, the She-Hulk, unlike all other series, actually the end credits is different every time. As far
Yeah.
as the Kevin Feige and everybody, the artwork is different every
Yes,
time,
I've
and
been
it's something
enjoying
to pay
that.
attention to. Is they're giving you books, they're giving you the video from the actual show. It goes from show and intro, recap, intro, title screen, show, outro, cartoons, and then end credit scene, which is actually fun. I thought the dancing and the twerking with Megan Thee Stallion was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
And
I enjoyed that.
once her blood got going, she's like, "I'll kill for you." I'm like, "Whoa!" She's like,
Well,
"Whoa,
dial it
dial it
back.
back." I'm like, it was
Uh,
dope. It was dope stuff.
that was good. Yeah, I agree too. It's fun and it's a nice fit for She-Hulk in my opinion. And I'm loving the direction the show's going so far. I enjoy the tone, the subtle meaning slash things that happen in society or social media that they are directly addressing with the path of Jennifer Walters and how she's walking. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm excited for Daredevil. I know Jennifer said not every episode is going to be a cameo, but
It
if
looks
he
like
pops
it.
up next episode, I'm not going to say no to that.
It looks like it, and I have no problem with it. I love the Wrecking Crew. Um, I just wish it would have been the guys that I wanted, but
Yeah.
I I understand what the MCU is doing, and they're grounded in this nature. Maybe they do get Asgardian powers. Maybe they do actually, bulk up and do become a credible threat. Because in Secret Wars, it was the Wrecking Crew along with Titania that actually beat her, down and broke her leg. So I don't know. Do we get to that point? Do we get to that space? But bigger thing, does she play a huge role in Secret Wars like she did in the books? We have this new character, and I think the sky's the limit, especially the fact that when she was getting mugged, she was like, "Oh no, I'm getting mugged." I was like, "Wait a second, I'm not getting mugged. I'm She-Hulk," and she
Right,
turned
right,
it to She-Hulk. So I'm so excited for what's to happen, and I really can't predict what the next episode is going to be. So this is so much
right.
fun to be a part of.
Yep, yep. Excited to see what comes next. But this has been the Lord's Minute. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so thank you so much for always being here and joining us. I'm Ty Swinson, here with Lord King, and this has been the Lord's Minute.
Peace.